My next point is one that I'm going to try to say this and hopefully it'll come across as I mean it. But do not handicap your children by the divorce. And what I mean is children look to us as their parents for their emotional cues and they will take them from us. So, for example, if you're telling your child about a divorce and you're all weepy and sad and you're wailing on the couch and you're saying, this is the worst thing ever, how are we ever going to deal with this? I want to die. Your children are going to take those cues from you. And they're going to think, wow, this is something bad. We might die. They're looking to you for the reassurance, the support, the explanations that they need and that they deserve. So please don't handicap them. Do not allow them, especially with older children, to use the divorce as an excuse for bad behavior. Well, my parents got divorced, so it's okay if I don't get good grades. Or I'm doing drugs because I'm so upset that my parents got divorced. There's a time for mourning a divorce, definitely. But if 6, 8, 10 months later you're still using this as an excuse or allowing your children to, I don't believe that that's healthy for anybody. So please don't handicap them with this. State it very matter-of-factly, like I said in the point previously, and then move on. Children need to see that they can rely on you and depend on you for their consistency and for their strength, especially during a time like this. And they'll be looking for you to show them how to react and how basically to get through the day. One of the other things I'd like to say is it's important to let your children know what will happen next. Is mom moving out? Is dad moving out? Are we going to be staying at grandma or grandpa's for a while? Are we all moving out and selling the house? This reflects the importance of knowing the answers to these questions before you sit down with your children to talk about the divorce. You need to know what will happen next, even if it's a bare minimum, because I'm willing to bet big dollars that your children are going to want to know what's happening next. So be able to tell them, even if you can say, I'm not sure about a lot of things, but here is what I know that will be happening next. And concentrate on the things that will most affect them. Like, where will they live? What might happen to their pets? Are they going to have to move, change schools, change communities, that kind of thing. So definitely, I would say put some thought into this to be able to answer those questions for your children at the time that you are telling them about the divorce. What I would also suggest is making very sure to reassure your children that they're loved. Their whole world is kind of crumbling and falling apart. And children, even older children, find that very frightening. Sometimes children will feel like they must choose sides, and they can't love both of their parents. They can either love mom or dad, but not both. So please, when you're talking to your children about divorce, make sure that they know that it is perfectly permissible and all right to love both parents. And then make sure you tell them that both parents love them as well. Grandpa and grandma love them. Just fill their heads with all the people that love and care about them. And even though this big change is going on in their family, that this one thing will remain the same. This one thing will never change, and that's the amount that they are loved. Very, very vital for you to do. The next point that I would offer is to let your children ask you questions and tell them the truth. Now, a lot of times I think as parents, we think we have to come up with this big complicated answer and we have to go into all of this detail. Honestly, parents, just answer what they're asking. If they're saying, why are you getting divorced? You don't have to go into the history of the last 12 months. Just the truth. Well, mom and dad just can't live together anymore, and sometimes people are happier when they live separately, and then bring in a positive. But I tell you what, we are both always going to love you. That is never going to change. Don't give them more than what they ask for, but they do have a right to ask questions and to receive age-appropriate answers. I would not advocate going into detail if there was an affair or if something like that happened. Your children don't need to know all the tawdry details of that, but they can know that mom and dad or dad and mom just can't work it out. So please consider that when you're talking to your kids. And then finally, I would say try to keep it neutral or positive when you're talking about this around your children. Now, when you're hanging with your girlfriends or hanging with the guys, you can vent. You can tell them why you're mad and how you feel that you were wronged. But when your children are around or when they're in earshot, you have got to keep it positive or neutral. They need to know, again, that they can love your former spouse and they're taking their cues from you. And if you're bad-mouthing and talking negatively, cursing about them, calling them names, that makes the child feel, well, actually pretty stupid for loving that person. And it is not our job as parents to prevent our children from loving our former spouses. We may divorce each other as parents, but parents, please don't divorce your children. And one of the ways that you can prevent that from happening is just trying to be respectful of the other parent. Well, those are some of my suggestions that I have for you today. This is a little bit longer video, so thank you for sticking with me through it. Thank you again to our subscriber who submitted the question. I very much appreciate it. Comments are always welcome. Feel free to subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos of this nature. And like I always say, I'll be in touch, YouTube, so you be in touch too. Thank you, YouTube. Have a great day, and I guess I will be talking to you again very, very soon.